We've just received a huge wave of new gameplay and information on the upcoming action game Samson, and with the official release date now confirmed for April 8th, the picture around this project is much clearer, and the game looks extremely impressive as well. And to me, this is the perfect mix of GTA 4 and Mad Max. The more we see, the more it feels like this game is deliberately pushing against how modern action games usually operate. This is not trying to be a massive sandbox, it's not trying to please everyone, and it's not pretending to be a traditional AA experience. What it is trying to do is deliver a focused, gritty crime story built around pressure, consequence, and heavy moment-to-moment action. And based on the newest hands-on impressions, the game is starting to look far more interesting than people initially expected. The new IGN gameplay video on it is absolutely massive and full of new gameplay. I'm gonna show you some of that gameplay right here, the best parts of it with all the new details. But if you want to see it in its totality, of course, go check out IGN right away. Like the video right now if you want more of this game on the channel, and let's start. The developers behind the project, Liquid Swords, have been unusually direct about their philosophy. Their leadership has openly rejected the idea of designing around market trends or building something meant to appeal to the widest audience possible. They've made it clear they're not interested in following industry expectations, and they've even said that if players don't like what they're making, there are plenty of other games to play. That attitude alone sets the tone for everything surrounding this project. This is a studio building something very specific, very deliberate, and potentially very divisive. Their approach is described as a grounded development philosophy where anything that doesn't serve gameplay or meaning gets removed. No mechanics added for marketing value, no filler content, no features included just because they're popular elsewhere. Every system must either challenge the player, strengthen the player, or create consequences. If it doesn't serve one of those goals, it doesn't exist in the game. That philosophy extends to pricing. The studio confirmed the game will launch at around $25, and the reasoning is simple. They want to deliver a large, dense experience at a lower cost rather than charge full AAA pricing. They've repeatedly said they want to respect players' time and investment by offering substantial content without the premium price tag. In an industry where budgets and prices continue to rise, that decision alone has drawn attention. What's also surprising is the size of the team making this. Liquid Swords is not a massive studio. The core team is just over 30 in-house developers supported by partners. They describe themselves as a senior group with years of experience focused on efficiency and clear creative direction rather than massive production scale. That smaller structure explains a lot about the game's focused design and contained scope. And the scope is something the developers want players to understand clearly. Samson is not a 40-hour open world packed with endless side activities or huge cinematic sequences. Even though the game runs on Unreal Engine 5 and visually looks far more expensive than it is, the experience is intentionally contained. The opening uses a motion comic presentation instead of large cinematic cutscenes, and the game focuses on a dense playable space rather than a massive map. The city feels detailed and lived in, but it is not trying to compete with giant open world games. The setting itself is central to the experience. Samson takes place in the crime-ridden town of Tindleston, a rundown city that immediately reminds people of older crime games, drawing comparisons to the atmosphere of classic urban settings like Liberty City or the grim tone of noir crime stories. The world carries a heavy 1990s identity, from the fluorescent lighting and gritty streets to the vehicles and overall aesthetic. Everything about the environment feels worn, grounded, and hostile. You play as Samson McRae, a former getaway driver and hitman who returns home after a robbery in St. Louis goes wrong and lands him in prison. During his time inside, his sister Una makes a deal to keep him safe, but that deal comes with a cost. Upon release, Samson must repay the money lost in the failed heist to dangerous criminals who will not tolerate failure. If he comes up short, both of their lives are at risk. But the developers have clarified something important about this setup. The debt itself is not just a story element, it is the core gameplay loop. The pressure to repay what you owe drives everything the player does. The deeper narrative is described as a drama about relationships, loyalty, and the tension between people who once trusted each other but now want different futures. The debt creates the structure, but the real story is about personal conflict and consequences. The entire game is built around pressure. Time constantly moves forward, choices carry weight, and there is no traditional open world freedom where players can endlessly wander without consequence. Gameplay is divided divided into days, and each day is broken into afternoon, evening, and night. Every morning, a payment toward your debt is due. To survive, you must take jobs around the city, but each job consumes time. You cannot do everything, and every decision comes with trade-offs. Some jobs are only available at certain times of day, some pay well but carry high risk, others may cost money up front. You might spend an afternoon tracking a suspect, following them carefully so they don't notice you. You might spend the evening chasing targets through the streets. Every action moves time forward, and the clock is always working against you. Do you take a dangerous job for quick money, risking injury or failure? Or play it safe and risk falling behind on payments? Do you spend your earnings repairing your damaged car, or keep the money and hope you survive the next mission? There is no perfect choice. Every decision affects survival. Failure also has real consequences. If you lose a fight or fail a mission, you can lose everything you earned that day. Even returning home is not guaranteed safety, as debt collectors may confront you before you can rest. The game repeatedly reinforces that nothing is secure. There is progression, but it is tied directly to player behavior. Completing missions and defeating enemies earns experience that can be invested into 4 skill paths: instinct to boost adrenaline, tactics to increase health, aggression to raise power, and cunning to improve finesse. This allows players to shape Samson into a heavier fighter, a faster striker, or a more balanced character depending on their approach. Combat itself is one of the most talked about aspects from early hands-on previews. The fighting is described as heavy, brutal, and unpredictable. It's closer to a messy street fight than a clean technical system. Punches feel powerful, and enemies can sometimes be dropped with a single heavy hit, reinforcing the dangerous tone of the world. Samson also takes damage just as hard as he delivers it, which makes every encounter feel risky. Instead of relying on long preset combos, players chain attacks freely, using light strikes, heavy blows, dodges, and parries based on the situation. Building adrenaline allows temporary bursts of increased damage, encouraging aggressive play. The pacing of combat is slower and more deliberate than many modern action games, emphasizing weight and impact over speed. Positioning matters, surroundings matter, and encounters can become chaotic quickly. The developers want fights to feel rough, reactive, and unpredictable rather than controlled or scripted. Driving is another major part of the experience, and it reflects the same design philosophy. Vehicles feel heavy and physical, with strong momentum and noticeable weight. The cars are mostly 1990s era vehicles, including Samson's own muscle car inspired by classic designs from earlier decades. These are not lightweight arcade vehicles. They feel powerful but difficult to control. Cars are treated like physical machines rather than simple health bars. Damage affects performance. A vehicle that has taken hits becomes harder to control, forcing players to spend money on repairs if they want to operate effectively. Players can use nitro boosts, perform aggressive maneuvers like side slams, and master drifting techniques, but reckless driving has consequences. The condition of your vehicle carries over between missions, which directly connects driving to the game's broader risk and reward structure. A damaged car might cause mission failure, but repairing it costs money needed for debt payments. Again, every decision matters. The city itself supports this design philosophy. While not massive, it is filled with small interactive details. Players can explore their apartment, examine notes and photos, and interact with objects throughout the environment. Even small environmental interactions like knocking over roadside signs for minor bonuses contribute to the sense that the world is reactive rather than decorative. Early hands-on impressions describe the experience as a gritty, grimy brawler with pseudo-open-world freedom. It offers player choice and exploration, but within a controlled structure that keeps pressure high. The world is not designed as a playground for endless distractions. It is a hostile environment built to challenge the player. One of the most striking takeaways from people who have played the game is how focused the experience feels. The limited scope is not being presented as a weakness, but as a deliberate design decision. Samson is shaping up to be one of the more unusual and bold action releases, arriving very soon.